Clayton Oliver left in shock as new coach Stephen King sacks him. Good day, folks. Welcome back to Unpopular Aussie Opinions, where we dive headfirst into the gritty underbelly of Australian sport and toss out the hot takes that nobody else dares to touch. I'm your host, and today, we are cracking open a bombshell that's got the footy world reeling like a bloke after too many schooners at the pub. Clayton Oliver, the Melbourne Demons midfield maestro, the bloke who's been the heartbeat of that engine room for years, left in absolute shock as the new coach, Stephen King, pulls the pin and sacks him. Dropped. Axed. Sent to the naughty corner with a dunce cap made of red and blue Guernsey scraps. And you know what? I reckon this is the best thing that's happened to Oliver, to Melbourne, and hell, maybe even to the entire bloody AFL. Yeah, you heard me right. On this channel, we don't do the safe takes. We don't pat backs or whisper sweet nothings about loyalty. We call it like it is, and today, I'm here to tell you why sacking Clayton Oliver isn't a scandal. It's a savage wake-up call that footy's been begging for. Strap in, because we are going deep on this one. Let's unpack it all, from the kid gloves treatment to the cold hard bench, and why Stephen King's got more spine than a blue-ringed octopus. First off, let's set the scene for those of you who might have been under a rock, or worse, watching cricket highlights instead of the real action. Clayton Oliver. The name alone conjures up images of a bulldozing beast, 190 centimetres of pure, relentless fury tearing through stoppages like a mullet through the wind. Drafted by Melbourne at pick number 20 in 2015, he exploded onto the scene quicker than a bushfire in summer. By his second year, he was averaging 25 disposals, snagging the Rising Star Award, and looking every bit the next big thing. And he delivered. Brownlow votes in his third season. All-Australian honours. The 2021 Premiership medal dangling around his neck like a trophy for surviving the apocalypse that was Melbourne's decade in the wilderness. Bloke's got 170-odd games under his belt, over 30,000 touches, and a reputation for being the ultimate possession hog. He's the guy who makes opposition coaches sweat just by lacing up his boots. But here's the unpopular bit, right out of the gate. For all that talent, Oliver's been coasting on fumes longer than a V8 supercar on its last lap. And Stephen King, the fresh-faced coach who's barely warmed the hot seat after Simon Goodwin's exit, has finally called time on the free ride. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to bag the lad without context. Oliver's off-field dramas have been the stuff of tabloid nightmares. Remember 2022? That saga where he was a no-show for training, dodging psych evaluations like they were tax audits, and the whole club was left holding its breath while he sorted his headspace. Mental health's no joke, mates, and fair dinkum. Credit to him for stepping up and getting the help he needed. But let's not kid ourselves. The on-field excuses started piling up faster than unpaid bills. Niggling injuries here, a mysterious virus there, and suddenly, the bloke who's built like a brick outhouse is missing more games than is playing. Last season alone, he clocked just 18 matches, and even when he was out there, it was like watching a Ferrari stuck in third gear, plenty of power, but no real drive to push the limits. Melbourne scraped into finals on the back of Max Gawn's heroics and a bit of luck. But Oliver? He was the ghost in the machine, talented but transparent when it mattered most. And now, with King at the helm, a bloke who's coached Geelong's VFL side to back-to-back flags and knows a thing or two about tough love, he's drawn the line. One training session too many where Oliver's half-assed it, one team meeting where the intensity dipped, and bam, you're off the list, Clay. Sit this one out. Picture the shock on Oliver's face. The cameras caught it all, wide eyes, that signature mullet flopping like a wet fish as he trudges off the track. The footy department's buzzing, journos are frothing at the mouth, and social media's lit up like a Christmas tree on Anzac Day. How dare they drop a gun like that, cry the purists. He's irreplaceable, wail the Melbourne diehards. But hold your horses, legends. This isn't betrayal, it's tough love served with a side of reality. Stephen King's no stranger to hard yards. He played 150 games for Geelong as that rock-solid ruckman, the kind of player who'd eat defenders for brekkie and still have room for a Lamington. As a coach, he's rebuilt lists from the ground up, instilling discipline where there was once driftwood. Taking over from Goodwin, a premiership hero who bled D's colours, was always going to be a baptism by fire, but King didn't flinch. He walked into a club that's won one final since 1964, a fan base that's as passionate as it is paranoid, and a midfield that's talented but toxic with entitlement. Sacking Oliver? That's not recklessness, that's a statement. No one's bigger than the team, he's saying. Not even the bloke with the most contested possessions since Gary Ablett Jr. had his Weet-Bix. And let's talk about that entitlement, because it's the elephant in the room, or should I say, the kangaroo in the locker room. Australian sport's got a long history of golden boys who think the footy's their birthright. Think Dustin Martin at Richmond, vanishing when the mood strikes, or Lance Franklin at the Swans, nursing grudges like fine wines. Oliver's cut from the same cloth. Immense talent, sure, but paired with a fragility that shatters at the first sign of scrutiny. Remember the 2023 trade whispers? Clubs lining up to poach him, only for Melbourne to beg him back with a fat contract extension. 8 years, $12 million, or whatever the going rate is for heartbreak insurance. They wrap him in cotton wool, excuse the lapses, and what did it get them? A prelim exit where their engine room choked harder than a first-timer at the pub. King's sack job isn't personal, it's professional. It's the coach saying, "Mate, you've got the tools, but you're not sharpening them. Time to watch from the pine and remember why you fell in love with this game." Unpopular opinion number 1. Dropping your star player mid-season isn't mutiny. It's the spark that reignites a dynasty. But let's zoom out, because this isn't just about one bloke's bad day at the office. It's a microcosm of what's rotten in the AFL's core. We are in an era where player powers tip the scales so far that coaches are more like babysitters than generals. Agents calling shots, podiatrists with veto power, and clubs terrified of the next PR nightmare. Melbourne's been the poster child for this mess. Goodwin's tenure was a masterclass in managing egos, papering over cracks with quick fixes and feel-good footy. King's arrival signals a shift, back to basics, where effort trumps aura every time. Imagine the ripple effect. Young guns like Christian Petrarca and Jake Lever seeing that even the untouchables can tumble. The draft picks, those wide-eyed kids from country leagues, learning that talent's the entry ticket, but grind's what keeps you in the grand final. And Oliver. This bench spell could be his salvation. Away from the spotlight, forced to confront the man in the mirror instead of the mirror's excuses. We've seen it before. Joel Selwood at Geelong, benched early in his career, came back a monster. Maybe Clay emerges from this a leader, not a luxury. Of course, the naysayers are out in force. King's too green, they bleat. He's biting off more than he can chew with a club as volatile as Melbourne. Fair call, perhaps. King's only 48, his senior coaching gigs limited to the seconds, and jumping straight into the Demons' cauldron is like swimming with sharks after a chum bucket. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The AFL needs disruptors, not dinosaurs clinging to outdated playbooks. King's got that Geelong pedigree, premiership as a player in 07, assistant under Chris Scott, and now this. He's not afraid to ruffle feathers, and sacking Oliver proves it. Contrast that with the timid timidity at other clubs. Collingwood mollycoddling their vets, Carlton chasing ghosts of glory past. No, King's playing the long game. Build a culture of accountability, where every player earns their spot, not inherits it. And if that means shocking the system with a mid-season axe on your best ball winner, so be it. Unpopular opinion number 2. Coaches who won't make the hard calls deserve the sack more than the players they protect. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of what this means for the Demon season. It's October already, grand finals dust barely settled, trade periods a whirlwind of whispers, and Melbourne staring down a rebuild disguised as a reload. Without Oliver, that midfield looks thinner than a supermodel's wallet. Gawn's still the anchor, Petrarca the flair, but who fills the grunt work? Enter the kids. Caleb Windsor, the zippy half-forward who could slide back and snag contested beasts. Or Tate Houghton, that raw talent from the tours itching for a crack. King's no fool. He's not dropping Oliver to spite him. There's a plan brewing. Training reports leak that the new regime's drilling hybrid roles, turning wingmen into stoppage specialists overnight. It's brutal, it's innovative, and it could just catapult Melbourne from finals pretenders to genuine contenders. Remember 2021? They won the flag not because of one star, but a system that squeezed every drop from a squad. Oliver's absence forces that evolution. No more leaning on his tank, time to distribute the load. And when he returns, because he will, leaner, meaner, hungrier, the Demons will be unbreakable. But spare a thought for the fans, those long-suffering souls who've bled scarlet and blue since the glory days of the 60s. This sack hits like a sucker punch to the guts. Oliver's their talisman, the local boy from the bush who made good. Sacking him feels like betrayal, a coach from Geelong waltzing in and dismantling the heart. Socials are savage. Memes of King's head on Robespierre's body, petitions to reinstate Clay faster than you can say injury list. Yet, here's the uncomfortable truth. True supporters don't want idols, they want winners. Melbourne's fanbase has endured heartbreaks that'd make a crocodile weep. That '07 Prilim choke, the 2018 wooden spoon, the endless nearly their purgatory. King's shock therapy might sting now, but it's the medicine they've craved. Unpopular opinion number 3. Fans who boo the tough decisions are the reason their teams stay mediocre. Rally behind the rebuild, or watch from the stands as Brisbane or Sydney hoist the cup again. Diving deeper into King's playbook, you can see the fingerprints of his mentors. Scott's Geelong was built on versatility, ruckmen who roved, forwards who crumbed. King's importing that to the MCG, and Oliver's benching is Exhibit A. Why rely on one man's motor when you can engineer a V12? Early drills have shown midfielders rotating through ruck contests, wingers crashing packs. It's chaotic, it's exhausting, but it's effective. Geelong's VFL side under King averaged 15 contested wins per game last year, highest in the comp. Translate that to AFL level, and Melbourne's suddenly a stoppage juggernaut. Oliver, watching from afar, learns humility. He sees the team gel without him, realizes his values in the collective, not the solo. Mental reset achieved. And let's not forget the trade angle. If this festers, clubs like North Melbourne or West Coast might circle like dingoes. But I doubt it. King's too smart to let his statement player walk for pennies. This is chess, not checkers. Wrapping this up, though I could rabbit on for hours, because footy's my poison, Stephen King's sack of Clayton Oliver isn't the end. It's the exclamation mark on a new era. Shocking. Bloody oath. Necessary? More than a pie at the footy. Oliver will bounce back, King will bed in his system, and Melbourne might just surprise us all come September. That's the beauty of our game, unpredictable as a summer storm, rewarding the bold over the bland. So, what's your take? Is King a genius or a gambler? Should Oliver pack his bags or fight for his spot? Drop it in the comments below. Keep it civil, or don't. This is Unpopular Aussie Opinions, after all. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you never miss a take that ruffles feathers. From all of us at the channel, thanks for watching. Stay opinionated, stay passionate, and I'll catch you next time. Go D's, or don't, that's your call.